So let's start. Last week I updated my owner tree PR on top of Sam's PR, and since his PR has been merged, so I can continue with the async version of my PR. I think I will have it as a follow-up PR. The first step is to have a synchronized version get a synchronized version merged. It's still under review. The next thing is to try to review Redux back recovery PR and get Inxin's PR merged. Oh, by the way, if Xuehan, if you want to get your PR merged without addressing the comment, I think it's okay, and we can address the follow-up the comments in the follow-up PR as well. It has been around like 2 or 3 months. Thanks for the reminder from.
I think I can.
Sorry, please go on.
I think I can address those commands recently and get it merged after that.
Okay, much appreciated. Thank you. Kame.
Yeah. So after discussion with Sam, and I hope I think it's better stop the extract the common code currently, because I don't understand the very detail of the implementation for extended map tree and the LBA tree. There is some difference in the details for the B tree implementation. So I started to implement the extended tree itself currently. So I'm writing the extended tree B tree node implementation now.
Okay, if you want to discuss with me, I think it's the extended tree assembles much like owner tree, except that the keys are fixed size, so it should be much simpler than what I have.
Yes, sure.
Yes, but
what I was suggesting is that you simply copy what she needs to copy, and then as it comes together, we'll start identifying common patterns if they show up. In other words, I'm just suggesting that you not worry about it too much.
So the owner tree and
the extend tree regarding to the key handling.
Yeah, the key is very difficult, complex. So I just want to make sure the owner tree and the extend map tree will not use the cache directly, right? When we get
no, they don't. They use it through the transaction manager. If you look at the implementation,
use the transaction manager to get the extend, read the extend, right? Allocate the extend.
That's correct. And if you look at the transaction manager, you'll see that it calls into the cache itself.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. I understand.
Go.
Okay. So I'm
if you wanted to discuss this more, please ping me at your convenience.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Reject.
Last week I was focused mostly on reviews. Reviewed the ONNOT PR, reviewed the ping for CLS log from Avnom. Also a bunch of smaller ones. Updated the backfill PR, which is ready for another turn of reviews. Would be grateful for a new comment. This week I'm going to implement. Okay. Apart from that, also a small PR for handling the case of duplicated Crimson OSD instances. This week I'm going to implement. I'm going to bring the unit testability to backfill. That's me.
You are muted. Ifo? You are muted.
Thank you. Vivek, Could you elaborate a little bit regarding to the disability of backfill? I don't really get it.
Unit tests for backfill. There are a bunch of interfaces in the PR that are supposed to be implemented in at least in long term in 3 different ways. First one is for Crimson OSD. Second one is for unit test, and the last one is for classical OSD.
Okay, I see. Thank you. I'm trying to update the pad. Ronan.
Hi. After following yesterday discussion, I've added 3 locouts for Slang LLVM tools. Still some words to write there, but not finished, but in a day or 2 it will be finished. That's other than that, reading PRs and writing scrubbing code. That's for me.
Thank you. So your implementation will be based on the classic OSD, instead of writing it from scratch.
Yes, it's a first stage, just to see that I'm doing things right. And then I do the real work of pushing it also to.
Yeah, let's start with something simpler and get it complicated if it's necessary. Approach. Sam.
Yep, I pushed the changes for the second PR up, and it looks like they merged, so that's good. Other than that, I worked on some stuff unrelated to Crimson, but I am now switching back to working on basically a segment registry. Right now, it just blindly assumes that I can just increment the segment ID. We need a way to track which segments are in use and which ones are freed. So that'll be another physically addressed structure hanging off of the root block. That should be relatively simple. The piece after that will be segment cleaning.
Sam, I don't really get it. What's the registry is?
Well, okay, so we need a way to write down which segments are available, right?
Oh, okay, I get it.
That's
so it's a registry for segments.
Yeah, and the simple way to do it is just like a single big block with a vector in it. There's not a lot to it. The segment IDs are, the number isn't very big and they're sequentially numbered. So no big deal, hopefully.
So all existing approaches to just enumerate the segments.
Well, the problem is right now it doesn't track them at all because it never actually releases them. So there's no need to track them because everything under the current number is by definition in use. So before we can release them, we need a way to know which ones have been released.
Got it. Yeah, we need to keep tracking of the used and unused segments. Yes.
So the next PR probably includes that and a really simple approach to segment reuse. That's probably the next step.
Assume that it will also based on the interface, right? Programming around the interface. So we can switch them for.
The interface is already there. Transaction Manager. So Journal has an interface where it calls back into Transaction Manager, where it asks for the next segment and where it releases them.
Okay.
So like when it opens a segment, it asks whatever gets passed in, give me the next segment ID you want me to use. It starts writing to that, and when it closes it, it says, okay, I finished with the segment ID. Do with that information what you will.
Okay, it's basically a segment manager.
I'm sorry? Yeah, that's probably what it'll be called. Oh, no, except I already called something else that. I guess it'll be segment free set. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Okay, whatever. I get the point. Thank you. Johan.
Last week I was mainly debugging the block IO for recovery code, and I got a question here. I intend to add some testing code for the recovery mechanism, but since this involves a lot of shutting down and booting up OSDs, I wonder if there is any facility within the current Truthology or QA test platform that can enable me to do the shutting down or booting up.
You're talking about OSD thresher, right? We do have a lot of tests for thrashing OSD by putting up OSD and shutting down OSD.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm.
Yeah, that's pretty much what Teuthology does. That's most of the tests, actually. The problem is that right now Crimson can't run in Teuthology. So
yeah,
we have a little bit of a chicken and the egg problem. My suggestion would be to do counterintuitively. Do whatever unit testing you can, and then do whatever manual testing seems to be appropriate. And then the next step will be to get Crimson integrated into Teuthology. It's going to turn up a lot of bugs when we do that.
The recovery test whipped up by Stringer could help with this. It's a based on PPT. Stringer.
Oh, I don't think that's a good idea. You'd have to go to the trouble of actually retrofitting all of CBT to use Crimson. Although I guess it does exist. I mean, yeah. The problem is that it's not a correctness test. Like, there's a lot that it won't test. It'll just basically test to see whether the OSD literally crashed. That's all it'll notice. It won't notice, for instance, if the objects are the wrong version, or if we didn't recover correctly, or if they're like, it won't do any validation. And there are Teuthology tests that do all of that stuff. So, if you do want to get that working, that would be fine too. Like, we need that eventually, because we're going to need to be able to do that kind of benchmarking to find out what the impact of recovery on foreground I/O is. But I think we should tackle Teuthology as the next task. That's why we're tackling log-based recovery and backfill right now. It's so that we can then integrate Crimson into Teuthology and get it running in our nightly tests.
Yeah, I think my intention is to unblock Xuehan so we can come up with some get simple test with using CBT, so we can.
Well, I'll also point out that there are
OSD and restart it without a human intervention, and later check its health status by like for example Ceph-S or Ceph-W.
There are some standalone tests that do that.
Ah, that's great.
Right?
Yes, we have some.
I don't know how they work, but they're in QA/standalone. They're just basically bash scripts, so that could work too. I think what I'm saying is I don't want to spend a lot of time on an intermediate solution. I want to get like basic testing of this and then get the Teuthology thing done, because that's where we'll really know.
Yeah, I think that's still blocked by the CPADM integration of Crimson. I'm not sure how long it will
Maybe.
take.
Well, if that's true, then that's the next step. Like, we should get that done faster.
Yeah. I encourage you to take a look at the standalone test. It's a very simple.
Okay.
It could be driven by command line. Also could be driven by Teuthology. I think what you are looking after is the single command line tool, which can be tested on your changes.
And one thing that's particularly valuable there is there are a bunch of specific test cases that are encoded into those scripts that cover bugs that happened in the past.
Okay. Thank you.
It's on the QA,
that's all for me.
QA standalone test, and it has a README showing how to drive it or launch it in the specific test. Let me know if you are after something specific. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yingxin. You're muted.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, clear.
Okay. So there's a delay to switch on the mic. So last week I added a test for node insertion and lookup and fix some bugs in the code, and the node content can be dumped. So that helps me to write a gist in order to illustrate how it looks like logically and why I'm going this way, without need to dig into tedious implementation details. So I will paste here. So I'm currently working on the code to identify the split position of the leaf node. The major code is done, and I'm writing the tests. So that's all from me.
Okay. Any comment or questions? By the way, Chunmei, I think Deepika has just sent a mail asking the test failure her running to while testing the combination of a Crimson and BlueStor. If you get a chance, could you just
I have replied. I have replied.
Okay, that's great.
So that is, I just saw it is because the release build, the default used the SeaStor allocator. So can we add that to the master tree? When they build the release and we use the default allocator, it needs a small patch.
Okay.
I sent an email to you also, so you can add it to the SeaStor make file.
Yep, good point. I'll try.
Yeah. So everybody meet this issue because couldn't allocate that so big, and for the BlueStor K database, and I try to enlarge the memory, but still had other issues. So also I asked the SeaStor guys that the traditional thread cannot use the SeaStor allocator. So it should use another SeaStor patch to fix that issue, but that patch is not merged in the SeaStor. So for us, simply to resolve it, just use the default allocator.
Okay, could you amend could reply the mail with a link that you posted the patch? So I could include it in.
Just paste in the email. Just paste in the email.
Great.
Very simple, 4 lines. Great.
I will amend the /doc/crimson.rst to note it down. We don't be bothering with it anymore.
So when we put the SeaStor latest version, we need to apply this small patch to the SeaStor CMake.
Oh really? Okay,
yeah,
it's a must,
because
right?
it's not merged in SeaStor. It's for our own use. Because SeaStor, when SeaStor build the release version, it use SeaStor allocator. It not use default allocator. Default allocator only build for the debug version.
Okay, there's no option allowing us to choose the libc allocator when it's a release build, right?
Yeah. So for us build, we should use the libc allocator. A new something operation. Yeah.
Wait a second. If I recall correctly, we made that because of performance. There was some issue in the past around around alien story implementation, and to not hit the memstore based test, we switched the allocator from SeaStor to libc just for default builds. And now what's the rationale for switching also the release builds? Sorry, I haven't gotten the initial sentences.
All the people do the testing, they build the release version, and when they run the alien BlueStor.
I see, and that was okay, and that was our intention. Maybe we should introduce some additional configuration option, compile time option to select for memstore testing versus for BlueStor testing.
Yeah, if we need to test alienized BlueStor, we have to use the libc allocator. Unless we can.
Redac recommended that when we use the memory store, we can use SeaStor allocator.
Yes.
Yeah, for the BlueStor, always use default allocator. But for memory store, we can use SeaStor allocator.
Yeah, okay. But the problem with that is that it's the store implementation is not interchangeable in runtime. But for testing, this might be good enough.
I see.
This really isn't acceptable long term, but it's an okay stopgap. but log the bug.
Yeah. Not acceptable in long term. If we have to live with the libc allocator.
No, the part that's not acceptable is we can't. We have to be able to just ship one Crimson binary. We can't be rebuilding it depending on whether they're using BlueStor or SeaStor. Because that's what we're talking about, right? SeaStor would be able to use the SeaStor allocator. Like, for packaging purposes, we do eventually have to fix this. This is not good.
Yeah, well, we could start from evaluating the impact of the allocator on SeaStor.
We don't have to solve it
Maybe
now. It's just important that eventually we have a single binary that just works.
Yeah, that's important. That's the most important thing.
If we need to go with single binary, we need to fall back to the libc library.
Not necessarily. We can figure something out. There may be another solution. Look, like I said, we don't have to solve it now, but a fixed point here is that we do need a single binary. We shouldn't be providing different builds for the BlueStor one or the SeaStor one. That'll be really complicated. We want one set of packages.
And we cannot forget about that, so maybe let's add a Trello card.
That's what I'm saying. Add a bug, and we'll worry about it later.
Yeah.
Or a Trello card.
Okay.
Check the Trello card. Check the Trello to make sure it's well documented and checked. It's indeed a very serious performance issue in long term. Not a necessarily
That's the question. We haven't evaluated the.
Like I said, we don't have to worry about it tonight, but one way or another.
Yeah. Agree. Anything else?
Just one quick note. We haven't evaluated the performance impact of libc allocator yet. Maybe it's not so terrible. I don't know.
I think it should be terrible because we use.
Well, okay. Just add a Trello card for testing it. Just add a Trello card for testing it. Like, this isn't a thing we need to argue about. We can just run the numbers and find out.
Yeah, we need some facts on which we could discuss. I'll do it. So I will add two Trello cards, probably two Trello cards to track these two problems. Anything else? Okay. Have a good one, and see you next week. Talk later.
See you.
See you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.